Hi, everyone. I'm Kevin Nelson, joined by the top cat, head coach of the Wildcats, Joseph Smith. And, Coach, your team just blasted Willamette 40-0 in an odd weather game, but a shutout nonetheless, and your defense really rising to the occasion. Talk about the level of play from your defense with the shutout.
The defense did play very well. Anytime you shut out a team, I'm not really sure it matters who it is. It's hard to do, and I guess that's the first time we've shut them out since '84. I read that somewhere, and that surprises me. But I'm real proud of those guys. The back row is playing at a very high level, so they're limiting big plays, in the passing game, and I think that leads to much fewer points, of course, if you eliminate big plays, and they're tackling very well, so you're not seeing large chunks of yardage very often, other than obviously the Meyerhard and Baylor game. But I think they're playing very well. Run fit the fronts nicely. I thought our defensive coaches had a great plan, and kids executed it very nicely.
Yeah, the 2 fourth down stops, those were huge in the game as far as keeping them off the scoreboard. Talk about those plays. And Mitch Lewis in on both of those tackles.
He did. Those are big plays, and those are turnovers essentially and drive stoppers. So the fourth down stops were really large momentum swings for us, and the wind was such a tremendous factor. That was a great defender for us on the day too.
I was just going to talk about that, the weather and how much that played into the game, really taking a one-dimensional team and making them even more so of that, not being able to throw the ball downfield. When they did, it resulted in turnovers and interceptions.
Tough day to throw the football. I think you really threw the ball at your own peril, and you just didn't know where the ball was going to go. It changed direction, changed obviously distance greatly, and I was really pleased with how we threw it. Certainly Sam's got a strong arm, so he was able to cut through that wind a little bit, but even he had some erratic passes because of the wind. So tremendous factor. I don't know that I've seen the wind play as big a factor in a game really ever that I've been at Linfield. Maybe back to that Western Washington game we played way back when in the playoffs in the weather. But I was playing then, so it was a long time ago. But the drives early in the game for us, the first two, I don't know that you oftentimes win a game on your first two drives, but in some ways it almost did. Getting two stops and scoring twice against the wind, then we had it for the next two quarters, almost gave them no chance to get back in the game.
Right. It almost seemed like every time the Bearcats had the ball, they were going into the wind, and you guys were just using it to your advantage. From kickoffs to punts, I mean, you name it, they were kicking into the wind kind of consistently all day. More so on Sam, though. Was the wind kind of the factor on his two interceptions, or is that something that we should be more concerned about, his second week in a row with two picks?
Yeah, certainly don't like that. And one was a very bad decision on his part. A little bit of a different look maybe than we had prepared in terms of one of our bubble screens. So that was disappointing. I think that's him trying to do too much and just not trusting some things. But it was a little bit different than what we'd worked on. The other interception really wasn't a great route. The wind certainly affected it, so put that together and you get an interception.
Looking at this coming week, you go to Spokane to play Whitworth, a team that you've had great success against as of late. You played them twice last year, once in the regular season, once in the postseason, and blew them out at the Cat Dome. But now you go to their place, and they're number one in the Northwest Conference, tied with you guys. Talk about this matchup. Going to be a lot of offense over there in Spokane.
There should be. There's two very fine offenses. I think the scoring is, both teams can score a lot of points, and they pass the ball so very well, and their running backs very good. So they're a complete offense and very, very dangerous. So they give our defense a great challenge. And on the other hand, I think our defense matches up well against that style of offense. So that's nice, in terms of for us. Their defense is talented, but yet it's given up a lot of points. It's interesting. They have some very good players there, and they obviously are well coached, just haven't put it all together. So, that'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
How does the preparation change from, you're going to have weather and a team that's really going to run the football a lot, to a really kind of balanced offense now that'll throw quite a bit? Just from week to week, such a drastic change in conference play.
It is. I suppose that's always been in the Northwest Conference, that extremes. It's maybe not as even extreme as it used to be, quite frankly, without the fly system, and then without UPS used to have a strange offense, so the gimmick offenses aren't as gimmicky, and they're a little more conventional, but I think it's a great. I like variety. I think our defense would get tired of defending the same thing all the time. So with great variation comes a little bit of flavor and a little bit of increased motivation, and it's nice.
Coach, thanks for the time.